Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I want to acknowledge the front of the member for Spence. Now, the member for Spence is many things, but I would have thought most people with any modicum of self-acknowledgement, after what we saw in the news last week with Mr Setka coming out and lambasting, threatening to hold Australians and Australian governments to ransom, that the member for Spence would have just quietly shelved this motion, said to the Chief Government Whip, "Look, can we just make this motion go away for a couple of weeks?" But no. This guy's got more front than Myers in Queen Street in Brisbane, Mr Deputy Speaker, because I just find it quite amazing when you look and see and hear what the CFMEU Secretary John Setka came out with last week. What he came out with last week, and it's on industrial relations. He came out and threatened. He came out and threatened and called upon governments that the CFMEU would black ban their sites if Stephen McBurney wasn't sacked as the chief umpire from the AFL. Well, Mr Deputy Speaker, you want to come in here and start talking about industrial relations reform, and the member for Spence puffs up his chest and talks what a great job they've done, and then in the meantime, John Setka comes out and absolutely gives every reason to every Australian, 28 million Australians, why this government is absolutely stuffing up industrial relations, because this government is beholden to the unions. We all know that, particularly the CFMEU. The CFMEU donated how much to the Labor Party's coffers last year? $4 million. $4 million. But because John Setka comes out and says, "Prime Minister, you need to stay out of this. You need to clear out of this. You just let me have my say," what we saw from the Prime Minister was, "Yes, Mr Setka. Yes, Mr Setka. $4 million is a lot of money, Mr Setka. Whatever you say goes, Mr Setka." The rank hypocrisy of those members opposite coming in here trying to pump up their chest about industrial relations whilst the CFMEU openly, outwardly, proudly wants to hold 28 million Australians to ransom and still take their $4 million in political donations. It is unbelievably it takes a lot of front for the member for Spence to come out here and keep this motion on the notice paper. But what makes it even more interesting is that those members opposite want to talk about the great job that they are doing for cost of living for Australians. Now, I want to ask every single person in the gallery right now and anybody that might be listening on the radio or watching on television, online, ask yourselves this question. Ask yourself this question. Do you feel better off today than you did in May 2022? Because, you know what? I don't think you will. I don't think you will feel better off. Why is that? Because gas is up, electricity is up, mortgages are up. The average Australian family with a $750,000, believe it or not, $750,000 is an average mortgage now, is paying $24,000 a year after tax, more than what they were paying when we were in government. An extra $2,000 a month. What family can afford that? This lot talk about the importance of cost of living relief. Every single Australian family is subject to inflationary pressures, and that is what we're seeing with the huge cost of living going up and up and up on everything. And this lot, this government, tries to pump up its chest saying what a good job it's doing.
Order. I thank the member